This 26 Sports and CCTV high school football presentation is brought to you by Cadillac Casting Incorporated.
Welcome back, everybody, to Lake City High School from the football stadium. Dan Gussert and Bill Dooley bringing you the post-game wrap-up. And Dan, I mean, it started off with a lot of scoring, but then after that, there was no touchdowns after that second quarter.
You know, Lake City, 2 first-half touchdowns, had to lead the whole second half, and they just kind of slowed down their offense, took their time, tried to avoid making mistakes. Both teams made a ton of them in the second half with fumbles and interceptions and penalties and whatnot. But it's just, I think, one of those games with those kind of turnovers and penalties that neither team got into much flow. Yeah. And with Lake City maintaining the lead, and their defense was outstanding tonight.
Wrap up on the touchdowns, Dan.
Well, we got Zach Noren, who scores both of the touchdowns tonight for Lake City. The first one on a 3-yard TD run on a 4th down play with 2 minutes and a couple of seconds to go in the first quarter, and Walker Hare kicks the PAT, making it 7-0. And then on the very first play of the second quarter, Noren goes 7 more yards, making it 13-0. And the only other score in the game was a safety on a fumble on about the 1-yard line. Ball rolled back into the end zone, and the Lake City offensive lineman with supreme hustle gets back into the play, dives on it in the end zone, and prevents McBain from getting a touchdown at that point. Certainly that would have made it a one-possession game, and a lot of things could have been different after that. But
and that's really a big play when you think about it. That
absolutely it is.
And the linemen don't get a lot of glory, but you got to look at the film after the game and say, great hustle play there. Little thing, 2 points versus potentially 8 points. Some of the players, Dan, that you thought on Lake City that you want to kind of call out?
Well, certainly Noren. He had a heck of a game. Hopefully that little injury he got at the end of the game doesn't slow him down next week as they get going. Waylon Ising. A couple of interceptions, had his hand on a few others. And certainly you pick anybody on that defense.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They were just outstanding.
Yeah, great. And then on the McBain side, you have to look at Garrett Verberkmos, who had a couple
interceptions himself. You know, some nice catches.
Austin Ealing with some good runs.
Sealand with a nice game.
Cole Sealand, the senior, doing a great job.
And their defense, too. Give them a lot of credit. That's a team out there in Lake City that scored a ton of points this season. And, they held them scoreless for more than 2.5 quarters.
Lake City averaged 36 points a game, and McBain held them to 13. Owen Bonico, the sophomore. Yeah. How many times do we call his name out there?
Yeah, there's a stretch where it was him everywhere out there, including on an interception he makes the tackle as Lake City heads the other direction. So.
Right. So, anyway, great job by both teams. It was a hard-fought game. Lake City will now move on. This is the Division 7. It'll be a district game coming up.
Yeah, they'll be playing for a trophy next weekend. Certainly a great job by our crew outside tonight, up above us here on the press block outside. And Jeff Castillo down on the field. What a great job he did for us.
Yes, our crew. I'm going to give them a shout-out. And then, Dan, we're going to have you read our sponsors one more time. Our crew tonight on the camera is Rain Johnson Hill, along with Max Davidson. And we also had Caleb Drake. In the van, our director was Wyatt Van Dynen, and our graphics and replay was Kaylee Buck. So thank you so much to our crew. And now, Dan, if you can get our full sponsor list. Our
full sponsorship, and if you'd like to join this list or join the winter seasons list, you can call 231-577-1844, or you can shoot an email out to sales@mynews26.com. For tonight's game, however, our sponsors are Cadillac Casting, Bauman and Rogers, Johnson Oil and Propane, City to Shore Real Estate, Miller's Corner, Fox Motors of Cadillac, ATEC Automotive Repair and Towing, McBain and Lake City Family Pharmacies, A&L Trading Post, Summit Digital, McBain Auto Service, Young Funeral Home, Ebel's Hardware, and LC Materials, Bill.
All right, we appreciate all of our sponsors. Appreciate Jeff Castillo being our sideline reporter tonight. Dan, appreciate working with you here in the booth. For our whole crew, we hope everybody enjoyed the game. Our final score here from Lake City was the Lake City Trojans 13 and the McBain Ramblers 2. Good night, everyone.
Good night.